Today on AGetc, we reflect back on the primary election and how important voting and voicing your opinion in agriculture. We get updates on what some of the issues are facing farmers and how important it is to use your resources through different organizations. We get insight into trade, vote FBF, and how water continues to be an issue across the state. And then we'll end with one rancher talking about how he took his beef herd from average to elite. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Rich Fells, president of Kansas Farm Bureau. And I want to start out talking just a little bit about national issues that I know many of you are hearing a lot about, and that's the trade situation and the impact that it has on agriculture. A couple of weeks ago, we were with American Farm Bureau in Washington, D.C., and had several presenters addressing the issue. And one of the catches that they were using was trade, not aid. And I think as we hear what the administration was wanting to do is to provide some relief for those in production agriculture for any impacts that the tariffs are causing on the impediment of trade to the other parts of the world. People in production agriculture really don't see that as a great alternative. However, if it comes to worse, realize that it might be essential to their operations. I think the challenge with these trade situations, though, is long term. We can patchwork here in the short term, but in the long run, we've got to be careful that we don't destroy some of the long-term relationships that we've had with some of these other countries. We've been kind of built into their infrastructure, and that can change. In the case of Mexico specifically, the amount of product that they move from our country to Mexico is a very, very significant part of their imports. We're going to give them the opportunity to import products from other parts of the world. Farm Bill has kind of taken the back seat, I think, to a lot of these issues with trade. But in a conversation with our Senator Pratt Roberts, he was talking about how critical, though, that is we get this Farm Bill finished, because at this point in time, the only thing that we have to do to provide a safety net for agriculture is the Farm Bill. So it's imperative that we get that worked on. I'm going to move to the state here a little bit, and I know we've just finished up with an election. It makes us think about how important our one vote can be as we go into these elections. The leadership of our state and how it impacts agriculture, no one really knows. However, we do know that the administration that we've been working with has been very friendly to agriculture, and has really worked diligently to improve agriculture and the products that we produce. That doesn't mean that the other candidates cannot be just as supportive of agriculture as we have been. No question, within Kansas we have water issues, and the water issues that we know that a lot of people are experiencing some drought conditions that are almost as bad as they've been in history, and other parts of the state that have had more than their share and are actually wondering what it's like to have some dry ground instead of mud to work with. But I think as we look back on the overall water issues that we have that have long-term implications as we go to the west, and the lack of moisture out there, how we deal with water rights, some transfer of water, how we work with other water systems with the states, and even if we get to the eastern part of the state and we think about our reservoir systems and the challenges that they have. So an abundance of issues on the waterfront. I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention some of the issues that we have with taxation issues and the challenges we have there. But all in all, a need for our organization to stay active and be a voice of agriculture as we deal with these issues.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Well, I'm Jeff Grossenbacher. I'm Vice President of Kansas Farm Bureau, and I farm in northern Nemaha County in the Bern area. We just had our primaries in Kansas, and it's very evident today in our Republican side of the governor's race how important every vote is. There was, I think, 20 counties that had less than 18 votes separating some of the candidates in the election. I think there was even one county that one vote separated the candidates. So your vote counts, and it shows how important it is to exercise your most important right as a citizen of the country, and that's to get out and vote and vote your conscience. Well, it is our 100th year, and it's exciting. We have 100 years of grassroots policy development. Our resolutions committee just met in the last several days to formalize some language to go back out to our counties and our individuals to see what they think of it. In my role as vice president, it's my privilege to chair that committee and make sure that process keeps moving. And we have 100 years of policy development in our book, and we're very proud of that. Policy development isn't fast, but it's a grassroots development that takes a year to develop, and we're continuing to work on it. And so it's served us well for 100 years, and I think it will continue to serve us well for the next 100 years. Each individual has the chance to if they have an idea for development in our resolutions process, they have that chance to carry it to their county board, or we have district listening posts. They have that chance to go and voice those ideas or concerns there. Our resolutions committee is made up of one individual from each one of our 10 districts across the state. They bring those ideas and issues forward to the committee. It's inserted into our process, and if we need more information, staff can research it for us, or we bring in special speakers so we have a better understanding of the issue. And then we try to develop some language that we send back out to the countryside, and they're able to look at it before our annual meeting in December. So it's not a fast process, but it has served us well, and every idea counts. I think PL 480 was developed by an individual out in north central Kansas years ago in the 50s, and it became national law. So the one person's idea can go a long ways. Trade's a big concern right now. That's on the forefront. Being here in the middle of the country, a large portion of the commodities we raise in Kansas are dependent on exports, and we have to export to get a fair price for our commodities. The commodity prices are down right now. We have the trade disputes going on right now, and we desperately need a win somewhere with one of the countries. We've always been for free and fair trade in Farm Bureau, not just in Kansas, but on a national scale. You put us on a level playing field with the rest of the world, and we'll readily, happily compete to sell our products anywhere in the world. Just give us a level playing field, and that's what really agriculture's always asked for, that I'm aware of. It's so important to us.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
I am Joe Jury, and I represent the 8th District for Kansas Farm Bureau, which is in the southwest corner of Kansas. This fall is going to be really interesting when we have basically a three-way race for the first time in a while. We have had independent candidates in the past, but probably not as dominant as what the independent party has surfaced in the past. So through our Vote FBF process, which is a grassroots process, I mean, it's brought up through each county, has the opportunity to surface and to basically elect those candidates or put those candidates forth that they support, and then it's brought here to the state office. We try really, really hard to get our local input and give every county, every CEC, a county election committee, every opportunity to put forth their support or their selected candidate that they support. After the primary, then we'll go back to those counties, and now that we have a candidate from each party, no matter what race it is, then we give them the opportunity to choose, make a selection again for the general election. So that process, we're very diligent in that, and we're very intentional in that we want our local support from our members, so that we know, as an organization, as a state organization, before we make those endorsements, we make sure that that's what our members want. We're going to be celebrating our 100th anniversary in 2019, and we're proud of that fact. I mean, just as any farm family is proud of the fact that they've become a century farm, that they've been in the same family for 100 years. It's really important to us, and we're proud of the fact that we've been around for 100 years and continue to develop policy that represents our farm members, our voting members, as well as our associate members. We have issues that also, impact families all across the state, and then we take those policies national as well. And so those are also developed in our national policy with the AFBF, of which Kansas Farm Bureau is a member of. But on the 100-year side of it, I mean, we've seen, needs throughout those years that our farmers, need and want for the existence of their family farm. Rainfall has been spotty across the state, so we have areas of drought and areas of plenty. And so that's as a big concern. I mean, the water issue, I just came from the ENR committee meeting, and water is forefront. It's a big discussion. In fact, now we're talking about water issues in the eastern part of the state because the east is in a drought this year when normally they're the wetter part of the state. And so, everybody has thought that a water shortage problem has always been the western side of the state's problem. But when you don't get rain, you don't get rain, and so it becomes an issue statewide or wherever you happen to be unfortunate enough not to get those rains. It's been very spotty this year. And I mean, it came into spring, of course, as a lot of people know, with a lot of the state in the drought, extreme or exceptional categories, and then we started picking up rain in areas in the west and northwest. And so the drought monitor has changed. We've gotten more beneficial rains in the western part of the state than the eastern part of the state. So particularly down through the south central or the central part of the state, have been hard hit. There's a lot of crops being cut for silage at this point in time, and shortages of hay in particular areas. And so that's why, you know, an organization like Kansas Farm Bureau, where we've got membership clear across the state, we can monitor that and basically put the help where it's needed and put the attention where it's needed.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide, presented by Lucas Oil, featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV, the all-new Better Horses Network.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and take trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
I'm Keith Miller. I'm from Great Bend, Kansas. I farm and ranch there. I have the opportunity to serve on the county and state committees, and now I'm on the board of directors for Kansas Farm Bureau. I enjoy working with people and trying to make a difference in their lives in agriculture, and that is the reason why I do what I do. I've been deeply involved for many, many years, and enjoy seeing the different friends that we've made all over the U.S. The primary that we just completed is one of the most important primaries that this state has ever had. The difference in the candidates, what they stand for, and what effect they will have on agriculture is huge. And that's why we need to be so deeply involved in those primaries. We need to get our members out and vote and let them have a voice in what happens. Most people don't realize it, but 4 counties in this state can control the legislature. And so the only way we can let our voice be out there is get out and vote. And that's what we are trying to send the message to all of our members is get out, get involved, and be a voice for agriculture. I wrote an article for a county this last week that's celebrating their 100th anniversary, and what I think about is all the people that have helped make agriculture stronger through Farm Bureau for the last 100 years. That says a lot to have that many people involved, teaching our young kids, teaching the people of our urban areas and our rural areas where their food comes from, and how we take it very seriously as farmers that we have a quality product that's good and nutritious for our folks. So that's where I see it. Agriculture is shrinking by the day. Less and less farmers are out in the rural areas. I'll give you an example of my own. My dad, today I farm what 17 of my dad's neighbors farmed. If that doesn't tell you what's going on in agriculture, nothing will. That's why the demographics are changing. That's why we're losing some of our schools. It's because we have become more efficient. Because of that, there's less of us to speak up. And that's why we need, as farmers, to communicate with all of our elected officials. We need to communicate with our friends and neighbors that don't necessarily know what agriculture is and tell our story. We need to be on the offensive instead of the defensive.
Summer is busy at Tarwater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tarwaters can help make your grass and garden grow, and we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tarwaters has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tarwater Farm and Home in Topeka.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Colorado cattleman Ryan Noble says he's learning that cow herds don't have to fall into two mutually exclusive camps.
One of the gaps is the high input, high return way of thinking. And these guys are geared for maximum production through all phases of the cycle. And then maybe on the other hand, we got low input, moderate return type of guys, and I don't see why we can't have both. Using these numbers, helping us find our baselines, help us to reach our goals. I don't see why any commercial cattleman of any size couldn't build a cow herd that has very low inputs, very moderate frame, low milk requirements, low feed requirements, but also once their progeny go to the feed yard, they can really compete with the big boys. They can feed, they can grade, and they can hang up a premium carcass on the rail.
The market pushed Noble to become more discerning his keep or cull decisions.
Back in 2014, the market was just sky high. Any steer calf would bring about $1,500 a head right off the cow. We kind of looked out to the future and decided if we're going to keep even one replacement heifer, we're automatically going to spend upwards of $2,500 on her before she returns us any money with a live calf. I knew right then and there we needed to find a tool to make sure we were keeping the best ones.
Noble began using the Gene Max Advantage test and rapidly brought up the quality of his females.
The cheapest thing that we sell off the ranch is an unweaned heifer calf that has no future as a cow. She's light, she's cheap. Now, with our cull rate being lower because we have brought our genetics up so much, almost every heifer on the ranch is considered to be a breeding heifer. She still has to meet other criteria, but at least she's eligible now. And one of the most profitable things we sell off the ranch is bred heifers and bred cows. So instead of having almost a byproduct, if you will, of light heifer calves, suddenly everybody's a candidate for the breeding program.
Cost kept him from using commercial DNA tests at first. Then he put it into perspective.
Let's just use a model where we can decrease cow costs by a dime a head a day. Well, you know what? In 270, 280 days, we're going to have that money back at just a dime a head a day. If we could increase production by a dime a head a day as well as decrease costs, about 5 months, 20 cents a day, we got our money back. And we've identified the elite cattle out of this program.
Noble retained ownership of a group of calves last fall as a test of how his improvement plan was working. 60% certified Angus beef brand acceptance with 0 selects confirms it's working just fine. I'm Bob Cervera.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.